Most signs of real intelligence don't show up in moments of brilliance. They show up when no one is watching, in the quiet decisions, in the invisible corrections, in the silent battles most people never see. Intelligence is not about knowing more. It's about behaving differently, even when the world is moving in the opposite direction. Carl Jung once said that until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Most of what we call personality is nothing more than rehearsed reaction, a loop, an unexamined response to pain, shame, pressure. Smart people don't escape this, but they learn to witness it. They train their unconscious not by force but by familiarity, again and again, facing themselves. Daniel Kahneman called these hidden systems heuristics, efficient mental shortcuts designed not to be seen, only lived. The smartest people you'll ever meet aren't constantly pushing, they're aligned. What feels like discipline is actually peace. What seems like focus is just inner silence. And what looks like success is just the side effect of choosing reality over and over again. This video isn't about life hacks. It's not about motivation. It's not about trying harder. It's about the habits that emerge when you stop living in conflict with yourself. When you no longer need to prove anything. When your life begins to match who you quietly are. These are not conscious strategies. They are echoes of inner clarity. Signs that someone has already done the hardest work, the internal work. Let's begin. Habit of strategic disconnection. You scroll, not to learn, not to grow, but because the silence feels unbearable. Constant digital input becomes your second skin. You feel informed, updated, connected, but deep down, you're starving. Not for information, but for emptiness. The kind that allows your mind to breathe. We've been told that intelligence means always knowing more, staying updated, being online. But smart people know the truth. Intelligence depends on what you remove, not just what you consume. Clarity is not a result of more input. It's born from selective absence, from fasting, not just physically but mentally, emotionally, sensorially. The most intelligent people deliberately disconnect, not as an escape, but as a ritual. They schedule time with nothing. No phone, no goals, no stimulation, just presence. Like an athlete resting between matches, they know that performance requires recovery. That depth needs space, and that sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is turn everything off. Habit of questioning, internal narratives. You wake up, live, and fall asleep inside a story you didn't write. A story built by your childhood, your culture, your trauma. You think it's your truth, but it's just repetition, just programming, just a voice in your head that isn't yours. Jung called it individuation, the process of integrating the parts of you you've ignored, denied, or feared. Smart people do this constantly. They don't just live their life. They question the story underneath it, the script that runs silently in the background, and they ask, daily, whose voice is this really? Maybe it's your father's disapproval. Maybe it's society's definition of success. Maybe it's a friend who made you feel small. Whatever it is, it doesn't belong in your decisions. Intelligent people take the time to sit with one belief a day and examine it, not to judge it, but to understand it, to rewrite it. They stop being actors and become the authors. Habit of emotional inversion. Most people treat emotions like fire alarms. Either they panic or they try to shut them off. But emotions are not enemies. They are messages. Every time you feel anger, envy, shame, or fear, something inside you is speaking, not to destroy you, but to reveal you. Smart people don't suppress emotions. They invert them. They turn reaction into reflection. Instead of exploding, they observe. Instead of drowning in feeling, they trace. The signal feel name trace reframe. This is not repression. It's translation. They know that emotional pain is not a failure. It's a flashlight. And every time they feel something deeply uncomfortable, they don't avoid it. They listen. Like in Pixar's Inside Out, they treat each emotion as a character trying to guide them home. Habit of discomfort, calibration. Growth doesn't happen by accident. It happens in tension, in friction, in controlled discomfort. Most people avoid this. They confuse comfort with happiness. But comfort is addictive, and addictions shrink you. Smart people seek discomfort, but not chaos. They calibrate it, like adjusting the weight on a barbell, just enough to challenge, not enough to break. They map their discomfort zones, weekly, emotionally. They ask, where did I hesitate this week? What did I avoid? What scared me, and why? They know that the mind, like the body, needs progressive overload to grow, not constant pain, but deliberate stretching. They don't fear discomfort. They invite it, because they know that who they want to become lives on the other side of it. Habit of invisible preparation. Crisis doesn't build you, it reveals you. And when it hits, you won't rise to the level of your potential. You'll fall to the level of your preparation. Most people think intelligence is about reacting well, but smart people know it's about rehearsing. Quietly, constantly. They run mental simulations, not out of fear, but out of respect for life's complexity. They visualize arguments and how they'll respond. They rehearse boundaries and how they'll hold them. They imagine failure and how they'll rebuild. Like pilots running pre-flight checklists, they don't leave it to chance. They prepare, so when the storm hits, they don't improvise. They align. Habit of dopamine awareness. We live in a dopamine economy. Every app, every feed, every ping, designed to hijack your attention. And over time, you don't just lose focus, you lose yourself. Smart people understand this. They don't just track what they do, they track what stimulates them. They keep a dopamine journal, a daily log of pleasures, and the crash that follows. They observe which behaviors leave them drained, which leave them clear, which ones bring real satisfaction, and which ones are just noise. They don't chase productivity, they chase presence. And they know that to protect their mind, they must protect their chemicals. Because what feels good in the moment might be quietly making them numb. Habit of micro-integrity. Integrity isn't built in big moments. It's built in the small ones, the forgotten ones, the invisible ones. It's in how you talk to yourself when no one hears. It's in whether you return the shopping cart, whether you close your phone when you said you would, whether you keep a promise you made when you were in pain, now that you're no longer in it. Smart people treat small decisions as sacred because they know the truth. How you do anything is how you do everything. And over time, these micro-decisions, these half-second choices, either create alignment or erosion. Every night they ask, where did I slightly betray myself today? Not to punish, but to see, to remember, to return. Like Navy SEALs who learn that even how you tie your shoes matters, because every detail echoes. Conclusion. These are not habits you do to become smarter. These are signs that you've already begun the deeper journey, that somewhere along the way, you stopped outsourcing your life and started listening. Jung taught that true transformation happens when the unconscious becomes conscious. That's what these habits are, small rituals of inner union. Viktor Frankl said meaning isn't found in pleasure or success, but in responsibility. Each of these behaviors is a private contract with meaning, a quiet agreement between who you are and who you're becoming. There is a war happening, not outside you, but within, between conformity and individuation, between mental noise and inner clarity, between the life expected of you and the one that's calling from inside. So ask yourself now, which of these habits do you already carry, maybe without even noticing? And which one is whispering to be born in you? Because maybe, just maybe, intelligence isn't what you know, but how you behave when no one is watching.